Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. It's cold and rainy outside today, so I'm in the garage, and today we're gonna work on this free That's right, free generator. It's called a powerback. I'm bringing power back. Yeah! 5,000 watt gas generator. It's got a Tecumseh engine on it. Looks just like a snowblower, a dual stage snowblower setup. When I picked this up from a guy's house who listed it for free on Facebook Marketplace, I went to go pick it up. Emotion blows. That's right, free. I'm gonna get it look like money. So it's a Tecumseh. Well, you would turn this. That old muffler king engine feels. Oh. When I brought it back, I almost got wasted because it was tilting and I almost dropped it on myself. I almost died that day. It wasn't fun. We put it back in the garage. I took the air cleaner off and I shot some stuff into it, and it actually turned over and fired up. It went vroom. Wanted to see. Just now I realized that there's a fuel shutoff. There is gas in here. I have no idea how long the gas has been in there. It might be 10-year-old gas, which means that maybe it might be the non-ethanol gas from way back when. Looks like the shutoff worked because it started to fill this bowl with fuel. When I was moving it around, tilting around, it started to drip, and I smelled it. Didn't smell too bad. I tried pulling it a bunch of times, it wouldn't start, and it's hard to pull too, really difficult. The last time we had it started up, I sprayed some stuff, some ether in it, and it turned over. So it doesn't pull start with just gas in the bowl. So could be bad gas, I guess. I'm gonna spray it again just to see if it fires up again. Got some ether. Open up the choke. Spray a little bit in there. Close the choke. Right. So, carburetor's probably not even that dirty, you know what I mean? It was running on almost 3/4 full run, but then when you put it all to 100% full run, meaning the choke flap is completely open, all air going in, started to stall. So the carburetor probably is dirty, but not terrible, because it ran for a good while on half choke. Pretty cool. It wasn't running long enough for me to plug something in to see if it worked, the generator. But I think we'd have to take this carburetor off and clean it, or even better, save myself some time and buy a cheap carburetor, brand new. But because I got friends over at HipaStore.com, they send me the parts that I need to do these videos to show you guys how great Hipa parts are. And so I requested a kit for this exact same engine. And as you can see, the kit comes with a new air filter, exactly the same as the original one. It's meant for a snowblower, so it included a snowblower type primer bowl, brand new fuel filter, which is gravity fed type, which this is, a new spark plug, a couple of hose clamps, brand new gasket, and of course the brand new carburetor. Made for Tecumseh. You can tell that it's a Tecumseh kind because it has a little recessed area with a diagonal line there. That's how you know. So generators are really useful. When you have a blackout, if a tree falls on your power lines and you have to go through an extended period of time without power, really makes you think about civilization, you know what I mean? when you're living without electricity, you realize how rough it is, you know? Also, if you own an electric vehicle, like a Cybertruck, and you run out of juice, if you have this in the back of your bed, you can charge your EV while you're driving, which completely negates the reason for buying an EV in the first place, right? So this is a typical Tecumseh snowblower type carburetor. You could try to remove the nuts here to get the carburetor off, but I have found it easier to just remove the entire intake manifold. But since we might be replacing this carburetor, you'd have to disconnect this from the intake anyway. So I'm going to try to get this off. It is Phillips. Well, see, this moves along with it, but because there's just enough room for the nut, it does stop it. So this does seem easier, but of course this is the outer. The inner tends to be harder. We'll give it a try anyway. How about it? I think it worked. So the fuel line comes from the top gas tank, goes through the other side, comes through the engine, just like a snowblower, and attaches onto the nozzle, input nozzle, pointed that way. Problem is, the fuel line's probably really bad because it's hard and rigid, but it seems to work. We had to change the fuel lines. I won't be happy because it's not an easy process. But it looks like we did remove this bolt and nut from the inner, which is great. Just tap this a little because you have to break the seal from where it's been sitting for years. There you go. And then you have to try to pry the clamp free from the nozzle. See the clamp on the bottom there? Try to pinch it. Oh, it's broken. So old. See? It's busted. Try to remove the fuel line from the nozzle without breaking the fuel line, but the fuel line is so stiff and rigid. Doubt I'll be able to save it. Might have to change the fuel lines for sure. I mean, it is moving, but there we go. There's a Z-bend over here. Remember which hole it was in, okay? There's 2 on this top tier, 3 actually. So it's in the middle. Let that just hang. This is the vent to the breather, and it goes in here. So this is a regular snowblower type carburetor with a straight input nozzle for the gas. If it was curved, it would be less than 5 horsepower, meaning the main jet is drilled at a smaller hole. Because this is straight, comes out, it's a 8 horsepower or more type of carburetor, which means that the hole in the jet is drilled out a little bit more to accommodate the amount of horsepower and gas that this requires. We'll have to remove this and put it on the new carburetor, but let's take the bowl off and see how dirty it is. So it's usually a 1/2 inch nut. So there's a diagonal hole in there and a smaller hole there. You have to make sure it's clear, and that's clear. I'll check it out later. Let's take a look at this bowl. Like I said, dirty, but not terribly dirty. You've definitely seen worse. That's mostly just dried up varnish. And it doesn't look like there's that much ethanol in there. So this might be original non-ethanol gas. And the Tecumseh's, the float level always has to be drooped down a little bit, and this looks absolutely perfect. You know, instead of it being parallel perfectly, this actually is designed to droop down just a little bit. That's how it works, and it seems to be good. If you hold it, shake it, it does seem empty. There's no fuel inside of it, which means that the brass float is in good shape. It's relatively clean, actually. That's kind of blocked. Oh, it's because this is up. See? When it's down, it's fine. And then when it's down, you can't blow. So technically, this carburetor is pretty good. I mean, we could just keep it, but I'll keep it for some other thing. We'll change the carburetor because I want a brand new one on here since I have it. This was probably blocked off a little. That little diagonal hole that was in there, that's probably blocked, which is why it won't run completely perfectly on full run. So I'm going to take this backing off and affix it onto the new carburetor. So about the fuel line, because I pulled on it, I kind of broke the end of this fuel line coming in. But if you take a look at this side, there's actually quite a bit of fuel length left. I can just push a little bit more in there, get more line to come out, so I don't have to change it. It doesn't seem terrible. I'm going to pull this out a little bit more, maybe a 1/2 inch or an inch, and get more fuel lines so I could just cut the end, the part that's a little damaged. See how it sticks out a lot more now? And let's just test the flow of the fuel. I'll loosen up the fuel shutoff and see if it free flows. Look at that. It does free flow, see? And that fuel does look old, but it looks like the non-ethanol kind. That tended to be a little bit more brown. You can kind of tell. I'm just going to cut right there because this part was kind of yucky, kind of busted from when I was there. It is, see the split? I broke it trying to remove it, but now we have ample fuel line, actually a little bit more. Just slip it back on again. See how that works. If it's no good, we'll change the fuel line, which would be a pain. Have to remove this whole thing. Let's check the oil real quick. It does say it has an oil shutoff warning light that turns it off. And it doesn't look like a whole lot of oil. It's probably, actually, let's wipe it off. Okay, now it's dry. To get the right level, you have to screw it all the way in. There's always like a debate on whether or not you have to screw it all the way in or you just do it with the threads. I just don't think it's accurate if you just push it in without screwing it in. I don't think there's much oil in there at all. So 5W30 would probably be good for this because SAE 30s for summer machines, you could theoretically use this in the winter too. So 5W30 will go in there. I have some synthetic 5W30 here. The trick is to get it in here without making a mess. Let's try. Ooh. Ooh. I'm doing a good job so far. Just fill it until the threads, or if it spills out. If it spills out, then it's a little bit too much. Earl. Okay, it's about halfway to full. I'll just dump a little bit more in. All good. Now that we've got the oil taken care of, just take a look at the orientation of everything here. 2 Phillips screws to remove this air filter base. The new carburetor. Place this back on. As you can see, there is a gasket. Looks to be in good shape. Don't fix something if it ain't broke. I usually use impacts for everything, but this is simple enough that we don't need to. Plus, impacts take a risk of hurting yourself. I dropped an impact on my toe here. Went pretty deep. It's a good thing I had a tetanus shot about a year ago. We need a gasket for this. This is the part that goes to the intake. This part right here has to have a great seal. Not a good seal, a great seal. We're going to put one of these new Hipa hose clamps on there. All right, so Houston, we have a problem. The Hipa carburetor I was sent seems to be the 5.5 horsepower and lower kind because it has the 90-degree input nozzle, not the straight kind. Should we try it anyway? It's hard to bend this. So I noticed a leak coming out of the Petcock. I just pulled it a little bit and it all came out. This inner gasket was all shredded and it wasn't holding it on there. See? It's coming off. So I had all this fuel pouring out of there. I had to grab something really quick. And look at this. This was the fuel that was in there. Stabilizer maybe? Looks good though. So I'm gonna replace the Petcock, and because we're doing that anyway, I'm gonna replace this entire fuel line that goes into the engine and out the other side. Well, if I just didn't do that and just had a fuel line going straight from the rear to there, that 90-degree nozzle on the new carburetor will work. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, got a new Petcock in there. Cleaned out the tank. New Petcock, also from Hipa. Fuel line. Hopefully it'll go straight to the carburetor. I'm gonna pull the old fuel line back out again because we'll need to have it. Jesus. Okay, we've got the gasket here. Stick this bolt through. There's that throttle. We had it on the middle hole on the top. That one only has 2, so we'll put it on the one that's nearest to the thing. Sorry, I know you can't see, but my hand has to hold the nut.
That's what she said.
Alright, so now I've pointed the nozzle upward, see? So this should go all the way down. Oh man, just not quite. So I'm going to try to turn the nozzle, point it upwards a little. Perfect. There we go. Now we got the vent going to this one. It's not that important, but might as well connect it. There we go. I'm a little worried about this hose being right next to the muffler because it could get really hot. I'm going to point it a bit more outwards. That'll be good. Alright, that'll be good. So just as I expected to change fuel lines on this and the carburetor. I probably could have gotten away with just cleaning the jet, but look, if this doesn't work because that's a 5.5 horsepower carburetor, and this is meant for this is probably a 10 horsepower, so it probably may not work or run as smooth. It may surge a lot because the jet is meant for 5 horsepower, but instead this is 10 horsepower, so not enough fuel is getting there. But we'll try it anyway. If it doesn't work, I'll take the jet nut from the original one, which is drilled for 10 horsepower, clean it, and put it back on this one. And this fuel seems fine, so I'm gonna pour it in there. It's clean. There's no there's no water in it. It's just brown reddish looking, but it looks like it's good fuel, and it ran with it. So we'll just try it. This doesn't seem to vent though. All right, I cleared up the hole for the vent. Now you can suck out of it. I'm gonna open up the fuel because this new Petcock has a fuel shut off. We'll let the fuel run. Watch it leak now. So it should be trickling. Let's go into a new gravity fed type fuel filter. I don't feel any leaks going into the carburetor. I don't feel any leaks underneath the carburetor. Perfect. Now will it start without putting spray to it? We'll choke it. We won't even spray. You ready? Got oil in it too. Piece of it. Middle choke. Ooh, that's good compression. Guys, that ran perfect. Even though that carburetor is a 5 horsepower and under kind, didn't surge, runs great. It probably would run faster if you had a 10 horsepower or 8 horsepower carburetor on here. But I'm fine with it. You saw how bright that work light is. That work light I tested the other day because we were doing a review on a power station. It put out 250 watts, so this is 5,000 watts. Of course, it's going to be able to do that. It's going to be able to do a lot of things. This generator could power your Cybertruck. Man, oh man, that's great. Isn't that great, guys? Perfectly good generator. All it needed was fuel lines, Petcock, new carburetor. Technically, we could have cleaned the jet on the old one. Probably would have ran fine, but just to be sure, we just switched it out with a brand new Hipa Carburetor. Now we know we don't have to clean the carburetor. The only thing I can't stand is having to clean a carburetor. That one wasn't too bad, but still, I'm glad we had a Hipa one. This Hipa one cost like what? $10, $15? I mean, why go through the trouble of doing that? You've got other stuff you got to do, like the fuel lines and the Petcock. And of course, this kit comes with a new filter, new spark plug, gaskets, hose clamps, primer bulb if you needed it, and we put oil in it too. So this light's supposed to flash if it was low oil. It was low oil. The light didn't flash, but the switch seems to work to turn it on and off. So let's see if it just starts like that. Choke it again. runs great. I'm on my way to drop off Boba for his grooming. He always loves to get groomed. Anyway, I was talking to a guy on Facebook Marketplace. He wants to buy my last lawnmower. It's the Toro Recycler with the Longson engine on it. I had it listed for $250. He offered me $175, and I said, how about $2? And so we're meeting him in the parking lot of the groomers. So after I drop off Boba, we're gonna go ahead and hopefully meet the guy in the parking lot and have this sold for $200. As you can see from the rear cam, I got it with me in the bed. All right, so I told the guy to meet me at the dog groomers. So we're here in the dog groomers area, and I just came out. He was right there, so I couldn't record. Anyway, as agreed, $200! Just like that. This is the one that I got from Robert from Holbrook. And I had to take apart the entire rear part of the thing to fix the transmission. It didn't have a belt for the drive, so, you know, that was actually a lot of work. Me and Robert said that he thought it would probably get $250, so I listed it for $250, but we didn't get $250 because it was missing like the air filter cover. Remember, I had to make my own, you know, and other than that, it's a pretty good mower. Anyway, $200, thanks to Robert from Holbrook. Rest in peace, brother. I dug this out the other day. I figured I'd never use it. I was going to sell it. So I listed it for $35. And some Spanish guy who didn't speak a lick of English, who worked it out to come and meet me today. But he hasn't showed up.
Go check out Maverick Mowers and download the Ultimate Buyer's Guide.
So how about that, guys? You guys saw what we did. Changed out a lot of stuff. Pretty easy to do. Still took a little while. But thanks to my boys over at Hipa, we've got a carburetor that works great. This thing's ready to sell now. I'll probably list this for $225. Take as low as $100. Or maybe I'll keep it. You could always use a generator, especially if you own a Cybertruck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you need any Hipa parts, go check out the link in my description. Use the discount code HENRY for 10% off all orders from the HipaStore.com website. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so I can continue to bring you small engine content like this one. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.